We are back in action. Here we go. Right. So, welcome back. I am planning to continue work on the map today. Hopefully well, I'm pretty sure we will get most of this side finished and then maybe start some work on a few of the important locations on this side and then of the island. And then we can look at, hopefully, I'm hoping next stream or very soon anyway, to start looking at the AI and stuff, because there's stuff that we need to do there. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. So you can see I've been working on getting a actual bridge together here. Yeah, so if you remember, we split the island in half basically. So I'm just basically getting ready to put in the bridge for this area. So I'm just going to keep on working on that for now. Shouldn't take too much effort to do. Just kind of need to make this a bit more natural here. So I got a bridge that, in my opinion, kind of fits the size of the thing we're looking at here, the size of the bridge and stuff. Because I didn't want, since it's a small area, I didn't want a crazy like interstate bridge or anything like that. So, yep, that's where we're at on that. Once again, I'm going to probably be placing a lot of rocks today because that's kind of just the design of this map, but it's going to be quite chill. I'll try to do a longer stream, but we'll see. Sometimes I run out of steam a little bit. But yeah. Okay, and then this looks like garbage. So we're just going to need to make this area look a little more finished as well. I'm gonna, hopefully the plan, I've been thinking about it over the weekend and like this morning and last night and stuff. I didn't stream yesterday because I got busy, but I'm gonna hopefully start pushing faster towards playability this week and next week, because I think that's the next big step, is making is getting a feel for how this hunt's actually going to play, because obviously I'm conscious of time restrictions. Like I can't do everything I want to do in the time I have. I mean, because I could just do this forever basically, but yeah, so I'm thinking I'm gonna get this map stuff looked at, and then we're gonna do a few passes over the actual gameplay of the map. So I just want to get these big locations set out, and then look at the AI, and then we're gonna do some basically playthroughs and iterate on that side of it, because I have lots of ideas and lots of pieces. I just want to get this map together enough where I can start seeing how those pieces fit together, basically. But yeah, so This is where we're at on this. Looking fine enough for now. You can see there is like damage to this bridge because if you're not familiar in the story of the Mothman, a lot of the lore revolves around the Silver Bridge event in Pleasant Point, West Virginia, which was a way bigger bridge than this, but that's why we're trying to put a nod to it with this this bridge here. So the other thing about this bridge that I wanted to do, essentially, was somehow sort of gate it off a little bit. Trying to think how I could do that because we kind of have this stuff in the way now. Let's see. Let's just play with the idea. So if I have my chain fence blueprint here, find where a good spot for this would be. But I'm thinking basically cut off here, here, and here. Oh, it's getting a bit iffy, isn't it? Hey, Demonic. Looking nice. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Yeah, this was, I believe, your idea to squeeze this bridge in here rather than a big background element. And I think it's going to work out quite well, to be honest. So yeah, I'm just currently trying to figure out how exactly I'm going to make it so that, because the whole point is that you're not supposed to be able to get across this bridge until you have the bolt cutters. So I need to fence part of this off. I just don't know about how exactly I'm going to do this just yet, but I guess I'll just put a fence in and we'll see what happens. So if because people are just going to park all the rocks and stuff too, which is a problem. So let's see. This is all live. I haven't really thought about this too much ahead of time. Always add invisible barriers. Yeah, I think I'm gonna need to be honest, because there's no swimming in the game. So I do need to. I need to decide what will happen when you if you're able to jump in the water. What happens, or basically block you. I think blocking for this game is fine, probably. Trying to find a bit that would make sense to have this gated off at. I mean, we have this kind of military kind of spot here. It's kind of tricky because I don't have a lot of room because of this stuff. I don't want to redo that stuff. On the rocks. Yeah, invisible barriers on the rocks. Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good idea. I don't know. I just worry if I put a chain link fence on the bridge, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's actually really tricky with the layout here, to be honest. I don't really want to block across here is the problem too. Maybe I should. Turn this whole area into... Yeah, I guess that's the way to do it, I suppose. We'll try it. I don't know. I might need to adjust this as we go, but... thinking, let's see. What the fuck happened here? Swipe. Yeah, and just sink this into the ground a little bit. So we can fence this whole area off, I suppose. Because then I can make this kind of like more of like a military area, maybe. And then we could do the same across. Across here, I suppose. I'm just gonna have to put something in, and we'll have to just kind of like iterate on it over time. But it's easier to iterate on stuff if I have something to work from. So put the fence in. It goes to over here, possibly. And I mean, once you have the thing, these are going to be no problem to get through. It's kind of just a way to sort of, I don't know, make you feel like you're making progress by unlocking the ability to access this bridge. And that also means I'm going to have to put one across here. So we can do that. People, oh shit, yeah, people are just going to jump through. Okay. Nothing in invisible wall cupcakes. Yeah, I know. I'm trying really hard not to put too many invisible walls, but I think I'm gonna have to do it because otherwise, yeah, people are just gonna like come up to this area and then parkour around past the fence. But I'll figure that out when we get to it. So we're gonna have to put in some sort of fence here. How's it going, by the way, Ranger? I always forget to say hello to you. I just answer your question, but welcome in. I've changed my camera layout again. Still trying to mess with it. I guess if I just put in a point in the middle, I can lower that. Oh, thank God I made this tool. Makes stuff like this way quicker. Rather than having to manually place all that. Cool. I'm like a beetle on your wall. You like the impression it gives? What does that mean? The new camera? It's just, instead of, this is the top of my monitor right here, which is where the camera was before, and now there's like a stand up behind my my setup by the light, kind of looking more down on everything. Just keeps everything out of my way a little more. Every day is a whole new setup. Yeah, one day I'll be happy with what I've got and just stick with it, but yeah. Alright, let's go with that. So now this whole kind of area is actually of reasonable significance because that is how you get through, and we have kind of implied that with a bit of military build-up around the area. So I think to finish this, or to get this roughly where we need it to be, I'm actually just going to put this on my other monitor. Just make it easier for me. Yeah, to get this where we need to be, I'm going to put in some stuff. How big is this? Stuff like this, maybe. Just to help make that parkour less realistic to be able to achieve. Yeah, something like that there. And then for this side, we might actually just be able to do a similar thing. And it also adds more visual interest to the map, having stuff like this. I'm sure somebody is still going to find a way, so I'm going to have to, I probably will have to do what you guys are saying and add some invisible walls. But I'm not really trying to block you from this area of the map for too long. Put more rocks down, my favorite thing. Definitely is my favorite thing, you know. I just gotta be careful with rocks, because when I place rocks, I'm giving people a way to parkour. Like that, for example. I've just given them a way to jump that fence, which I did not intend to do. But yeah, if I invisible blockers, etc., this area, it'll be good. It'll work out. Because then I can still do stuff like this to make it seem like we're not just putting a fence in the middle of nowhere. And then I need to obviously paint the terrain and add props and stuff to make this look like they've actually, you know, done this on purpose. It's really annoying how these columns don't have tops and bottoms. I can see spot that a bit. There we go. So I'll just make this area look a little bit more. Not entirely sure how I feel about the two monolithic towers that intersect the trail. I feel they may be a bit out of the military industrial complex there. Yeah. Keep that more on this side, you reckon? That's fair. Let's see what it will look without them again. So you reckon more like this? I just need to make this area look like it's someone has blocked this on purpose, but I guess it doesn't have to be those massive things. Yeah, okay. Alright, no, good call, good call. What should we do then instead? I feel like I need something there. Maybe I don't, but like, I just feel like something to make it quite big. Okay. Why do we have this stupid right click thing here? And that was enough for the character to want to get there. All they had was a big chain fence. Wait. Have you played Firewatch? Okay, I need to start on this up. Where Henry pulls up the sectioned off forestry signs, but no, I haven't. He found an axe to chop it down. Demonic, you reckon just fence off this? That is an option. Okay. Players will find it, especially when they see the cool military part across the water. Yeah, okay. No, actually, you are right. That's actually a really good idea that I don't know if you meant to do, but if I put one of those things I was going to do, maybe say like right here, or something, to make it look like, hey, I want to get over there, possibly. Something like that, anyway. I think that's a good call. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you guys reckon basically just have the fence be, yeah, this area is off limits kind of thing, and just let players figure it out from there. That can be fine then. Okay, we can do that. You don't like how big it is, huh? Big stuff is cool though. But yeah, here, scale it down somewhat. I just want to make it like obvious that there's cool stuff to see over here, because you can only really from here you can only really see the radio tower, which you've already been to one of those. Maybe some of this. So like maybe I'll put like a flashing red light up here and stuff, or put one of these bigger ones way back further. Yo, Doge, what's up, man? That's baller. Nice. No, your thoughts are good, guys. I'm only worried now about how much of this we're cutting off. It might be okay, because you can still access this area by going around the long way. But you will hit these fences. But I guess that's fine. I can just put up like maybe some signs and stuff like that. I think you're right. Yeah, red beacon things. I'm not sure if I have one of those, maybe. No, I can definitely make one. Why don't we just make one? That's something different. Give me a break from this map stuff for a minute. I do have I kind of, if I can get to it today, want to show you guys what I'm thinking for the other side of the map, because it's gonna like it gets pretty crazy, and I don't know, it's like it's a bit out there, but I'm just gonna commit because it's what, you know, I just feel like it's cool basically. All right, let's go in here. Let's have a new folder like flashing light or something. Yeah, I guess we'll just do it like this. It's a particle though. There it is. Okay, and then sprite renderer, I believe. Flashing lights. If I go surface unlit additive. Find that texture I made if I can. So I'll use particle color. and we'll just basically multiply the... Does this actually have alpha? No. Okay, so we'll just multiply the alpha of that with any channel on there for the opacity, and then the color will be straight from there. And actually, maybe we multiply that as well. Be nice if you could break a hole through any part of the fence. Yeah, you can break a hole through any part of the fence. You can, like, if you want to, once you have the bolt cutters, you could break all of these if you want. Cutscenes would be cool. I just don't know if I have the means to do it for this game. Maybe if we do like a Folklore Hunter 2 or something, I can integrate some of those ideas, but I just don't think it's going to be feasible for this and the time we have. Right, so we do this, and then we do time multiplied by something, and then sine that. We can just do it with the period actually. So that will be -1 to 1, and then we can say seal, maybe? Should make it flicker. And then we can control the thing there. Okay, so let's see how we can make this look. So initialize particle, sprite, color mode, direct set, just set it to red, I guess. And sprite size can be bigger, maybe? Let's see. If I put, now I can just like put these around anywhere I want. Need the lights to be. I guess it's supposed to be on top one of these things. I'm just trying to avoid it overlapping too much with the sky, because then you completely lose it during the day. That's alright. It'll look cool at night. Yeah, and then I don't know. Maybe I guess I could put on a light as well. Maybe. That's super necessary though. Yeah, cool. All right. I think it is because of how it would be done, but it's your call. When you have time, I suggest look up below 0. More Garrett Marder. Prawn suit. Yeah. Now it would be cool to have, and there's good tools in Unreal for doing that sort of thing. It's just, yeah, I just don't know if I'm gonna have the resources to do that for this. I don't know, we'll see. Let's do, so it's 0 to -1 to 1 because we've done a sine wave. If you know trig, you know the sine wave. So if we to get that in the range I want, if I add 1 to it, that'll be now in the range of 0 to 2, and then divide by 2 will give us the range 0 to 1, and I don't actually need that max anymore. Yeah. You're an engineer in general. Yeah, most people know what a sine wave is, but just in case. Just in case. I think the only other thing is random rotation. Let's just leave the rotation alone, like, it's fine. So yeah, now we can put probably a few of these around, which will help. Mainly at nighttime, but help, like, make you want to go over here, basically. Hopefully. Especially once I light this tower and stuff. Very good. I don't think that's lined up properly, is it? Close enough. Hey, S'more. Long time no see. Maybe a little longer on the on part of the blink. On part of the blink. You mean... that? Oh, it's like on, off, on. Okay. Alright. Sure. This is Twitch chat makes a Folklore Hunter map. No, I appreciate it. It's good. It's really if you guys have never done stuff like this before, not just game development, but anything kind of where you spend like a long time, years even, looking at the same project, it's really easy to not see obvious things in front of you. Like you get kind of blinded to problems because you just get used to looking at it. But you can see also I did mess with the nighttime look of this as well. I don't know how well this is showing up on stream, but like the fog is pretty heavy at nighttime, and there should be, if I was in game, it would turn on this filter as well to make it make nighttime a bit more interesting. So yeah. Anyway, post. Let's keep going because I really want to try and get to the cool stuff today. Like most of the cool stuff happens on the other side of the map, to be honest. This is kind of like just your introduction area, which is still cool, but you know, like all the like lore heavy, like what the hell's going on, secrets and stuff are over this side. So yeah. You reckon they should be unsynced? Level design in VR is pretty fun, yeah, I agree. Unsynced? Random? plus this times, like, I don't know what number this is supposed to be, but we'll just say 10. Depending on what number I put there, will change how synced up they are. You happy with that? They do a little flicker sometimes, but that's fine. I'm not sure. It's probably some sort of math I've got going on here where... Anyway, it's fine. Okay, cool. So now we have, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but we have some stuff to look at over there. Whoa, we're now way outside of the map. Way outside of the map, holy. So this bridge, since I have these assets now, I'll find an asset for this, and we'll just hopefully crank out the rest of this side of the map reasonably quickly now. So I'll just find one of these that... that could make you have to jump. What do you think? I was thinking of something more... These are pretty big, huh? Not going and buying another bridge pack. I'll make one of these work. Any IRL location inspiration for this hunt? Yeah, I mean, a lot of sources, to be honest, but I'd say the biggest one is Pleasant Point, West Virginia, where a lot of the Mothman sightings and stuff happened, and the TNT area surrounding that, and then just from various videos and bits and pieces, and yeah, kind of just went from there. But I'd say that's the biggest, like, inspiration for this hunt. Really would prefer something a lot smaller than most of these are. I think it's going to be this one. For now, anyway. And then if I get sick of it, I'll change it to a different asset. Where were we supposed to line up? I think it was this gap here, wasn't it? I think just straight across anywhere is fine. Cool. This is starting to look pretty cool with all these major assets now, like the silhouettes that I keep harping on about. It's starting to look pretty cool. Something super cursed and shrink that slightly. It's not, you're not really supposed to. Yeah, but that'll work. And then, yeah, so the bridge is kind of a little messed up here as well. This has got incredibly high sides for what I'd expect, to be honest. And now I can't get back up there either. What do we think? What do we think? It's becoming nighttime. Maybe it's alright. I mean, it's what I've got right now. I have to put something there so you can actually get back up. And then like, yeah, some stairs or something there. Yeah, that'll be cool, I think. I can take it into Blender if I need to and lower those side rails or remove them, but this will be good for now, I think. Okay, now we just need to handle... There we go. Some of these trees, I'll just move these out of the way for now so I can see what's going on over here. And people will roast me if I leave those trees there. Even though I'm pretty sure, you know, someone was telling me the other day they can grow out of rocks. So maybe I'll leave a few in and see if people get mad about it. Because it does look cool with these branches, like, you know, going over the sides and stuff. I think it looks quite cool. Yeah. So you reckon Ranger leave this gap so you can't go back this way? You'd have to go all the way around. I think you're probably right there, yeah. So you can't just get back and forward. Yep, I think you're right. Alright. I'm not going to do like super detailed stuff right now with the foliage and stuff, but I do want to make it so that this sort of does go somewhere, does something. So we can probably grab something from here. Slightly different texture colors and stuff like that, but I can fix that with decals or tweak the texture in Photoshop if I have to. You know what? You know what? We have letters now, right? It does not make sense to put one here, because, like, why would they make a bridge to get across and then you just have to go on a ladder? But it could be cool. It's going to be a waste of my time to make all this and then delete it after. Meshes. No, I can't be bothered. That's the spirit. I'll I'll possibly do it off stream or not at all. I'm just not convinced it's going to be good, and then it's going to take me a while to actually make it, so I don't really want to do it. I don't want to do it. Maybe I do. I kind of do want to do it, but I just... It's going to be a bit of trial and error. Alright, somewhere in here, surely we've just got like some sort of concrete pad for me to use, please. Come on. Okay, if we don't, I'm going to use rocks again. Where'd the music go? This is a pain in the ass. That side you can't go across the bridge anyway. Oh, of course, demonic. Of course, good call. Yeah, you can't. There's like, even if you could get up there, you can't get across, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, good call there for that. I didn't even think that through. So likely we just put some like shrapnel or like broken metal and stuff at the bottom for that area. Good call. Really can just basically leave it as a drop. Anyway, gotta go for the night. I was only able to be here for a few minutes. Alright, nice to see you, Doge. Thanks for tuning in, man. Actually, right there, that rock works great. Yeah, I think it's good. It looks like it's not really supposed to be like this, but it looks like, you know, it semi-intentional. I don't like that little spot there, but that's fine. We can cover that with foliage. Cool. Alright, yeah, I think it's pretty good. These buildings still haven't been figured out how that's going to work just yet, so I'm not too worried about that. But in terms of the bridge, pretty good. I think possibly it might be worth decorating the side a little more. To cover up some of these, no offense to whoever made this pack, but kind of ugly textures. Yeah. Maybe we could honestly put maybe. It's so small, it doesn't matter. Alright, that'll do for now. And then obviously landscape, we'd have paint, and then there would be some sort of, you know, this would go somewhere and do something, whatever this area is going to be. And then same for here. Maybe not, but I'll just kind of imply there's been a little bit of foot traffic here. Mothman likely will not be able to path across this unless I add. Well, I mean, we don't even have nav in this map yet. Unless I put like you can put these little, basically, I think, what are they called, nav links, to tell the AI you can like go somewhere that's disconnected. I use it for the cabin with the Wendigo. But honestly, the Mothman's probably going to do a lot of flying, so I'm not too worried about that just yet. Yeah, and the sides on this bridge are quite high, but I kind of actually like that the more I see it. And yeah, I think this is good. This area feels like you don't take much fall damage. Feels like semi-intentional now, so it's good. I'm gonna go his nav links in the cabin, yeah. Do you think it needs to raise like ever so slightly? I believe the bottom of the bridge mesh shows near the rock. Hmm? This? This? Yeah, you're right. You're correct. if that's what you mean. Like where the step rocks are. What are you talking about? This shows? Appreciate it, Small. Yeah, it does clip, but I don't know. It's probably fine. I could put a decal or something to make that better. Yeah, I'm trying to make this map basically as good as I can for this. So yeah. All right, so we've got this area locked off. This still don't know what it's going to be. There's still quite a few areas that I don't know what they're going to be, but I'll probably just forest a lot of it. These splines I need to work on. I mean, there's just a lot of area for basically just general hunting, and then I need to put something in here, but I still don't know what, so we will just we'll just leave that part for now, I think, until I put some more stuff around here. The main thing on this side is going to be the tower, and or the radio tower, and the ritual grove, which I was kind of going to put more over here, to be honest, but we can make that work somehow. Cool. Okay. Good progress, I think. So depending where we put the bolt cutters, it's just going to have to be somewhere that's not in this area, so that you can't, you don't, you know, like you can get them somewhere else. So like one of these side buildings, maybe we could put it on one of the radio towers. I probably should finish up this radio tower area, to be honest. Yeah. In Night of the Wendigo, there are spots to spend the night, although it just skips to dusk. Bloodfang doesn't need that, as you can do stuff like all the time. Will this have need that? If so, a tent area would be nice. It won't like necessarily need it like for gameplay, but I feel like it is kind of nice to, if all you want to do is wait till night to see the creature, then you can just wait around and do it. I was tempted for this map to not do a day-night cycle and just have it night the whole time, but I feel like I can't really do that because everything else in the like all the other hunts have day-night cycle, so I will have to include daytime as well, I think, for exploration and whatnot. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like how I want this area to be. I mean, we can literally just do one of these, that's fine. Because we're going to have these towers, then you get across the bridge, and then from the bridge, on this side, you've got the next radio tower area. In this spot. Then there's going to be this little bunker thing, which I don't think will have any important gameplay stuff. It's just maybe some clues and you know, some loot, basically. And then there's a couple more bunkers around that are going to be basically the same thing. But then there's the military compound, which I will, and I kind of already do, have fenced off. That you'll need the bolt cutters again for. And then, what the fuck happened here? What happened to this texture? And then, yeah, so there's going to be a few gameplay things in here. Ooh, ignore that. And there's a few, where is it? Hard to see because I haven't lit most of this yet, but there's a few interior locations as well in this place. Not all of them, but just some of them, especially this one mainly. Because I'm basically trying to make the area look really big, but it's not. I'm not going to make you dig through every nook and cranny of all of this. The map gives me ever so slight Hunt Showdown vibes. Yeah, I really like the style of that game. The Western style. And how big is it? Yes, Ranger got you. Bigger than Night of the Wendigo, smaller than Bloodfang in terms of actual play space. But it's hard to know how much the play space is going to matter, because this map, one of my design goals was to do more, not linear, but like have more closed spaces where you kind of get directed around the map a little more, rather than just like a big open forest like the other maps are. So there are some spots that, you know, you have to, you know, you can't just walk straight between them, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, yeah, so we have the military compound, and then over here is where I was thinking of having the actual sort of bio lab, which I can show you some of. I'm probably going to change a lot of this, but and yeah, I don't have any lights or anything down here, but this is basically going to be like the super secret part of the military island. Yeah, so those are the, and then I was thinking there was one other place I was thinking at the bunker complex. I'm not sure if I'll do this or not. It just depends if I want to add more gameplay to it, or if that's already long enough, because I don't want to make this hunt really long. You know, if I could keep it around an hour or so, that'd be good. Is this the map? Is this map going to do what Wendigo do, like make things disappear? The Mothman's going to have his own kind of quirks about him. There's definitely going to be an element of like confusion and manipulation, but it's going to be different than the Wendigo, basically, because the Wendigo was set in that forest that kind of you know, is changing, and it was more like psychological, that one. So yeah, you'll see. It's hard to explain what I'm going for until I have something to show you, but you can see this is one of the more finished forested areas, so this is kind of the feel of you know, hunting in this map, basically. So yeah, it's very different, I feel like, this map, but I don't know, I think that's good. So basically, you know what, let me go to the bathroom and sort myself out, and then I'll talk through my plan for some of this side, and we might start looking at a little bit of that, because I wanted to get to that today. I'll be back. I don't mind the long hunts, and I would actually just like to see in multiplayer, I look over my friend's shoulder and see red glowing eyes stalking behind them. Yeah, that will be cool. The Mothman like visuals I think are going to be really fun to play around with in certain areas of the map. I'm gonna experiment with how do I say this? In the first two hunts, pretty much all of the AI was procedural of the creatures. Like everything that happened was not like scripted or planned or anything. I'm gonna do the same for this hunt, but I am gonna have. I want to experiment with basically having environmental triggers, more or less, where you can have certain encounters still random with the Mothman, but that are kind of more tied to the location, if that makes sense. So for example, if you were up on one of these radio towers, you know, potential for having a random event of having potentially you flies past, or you see him down the trees, or starts basically warping the radio frequencies. So I'm going to experiment with that in this, I think, as well. But again, I'm on kind of like a time limit because I have only so much funds available that I've kind of put together to get this done. So I'm not sure how much of that will actually make it in, but that's kind of the plan. I kind of do mind longish hunts simply because I usually play alone. It takes so long to do the things I would get bored and have no energy to do things anymore and just give up. Yeah, I mean, I don't want them to be too long. I mean, some people might like long. I'd rather the actual length of completion of the hunts be, a reasonable session, but have enough side content that if you really wanted to explore more of the lore and history behind the hunt, you can spend more time doing that, or you can just beeline and just get it done, kind of thing. So yeah, here's where we're going to start getting into some pretty serious spoiler stuff, and it's not all kind of finished yet. It's still obviously not finished, but still up for debate whether this stuff will make it into the hunt or not. But it's basically my vision of how this is going to work. So essentially, and once again, spoiler warning, like this is, what I'm about to say is going to be based about the lore of this hunt and the Mothman, and if you want the best experience, you're better to not see what I'm about to show you and then play for the first time. But if you're still here, I'm assuming that everyone is okay with me showing the super behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, as I say, it's not finished, so even if you do see this stuff, it might change. But we have, actually, let me just save everything. We made last time, I don't know if many people saw this, but last time we made these, what are basically, what I refer to as black moths. So, these are going to play into the hunt in a particular way. It's hard to know how much I should say this right now, because again, it might change, but I guess as long as you know that this isn't guaranteed, this is just what I'm going to try. Essentially, let me just talk through the whole thing from the start, I suppose. I know what I'm thinking. So, the Mothman is taking place in this map on this island, and you're basically dropped off into the island, and it's obvious that there is like somewhat military presence around the island, and there are these I don't know even what to call them, but these things kind of spread around the map in a particular way. As you explore, the first thing, or the main thing preventing you from getting to the interesting lore stuff on this side of the island is the fences that you need to be able to get through. So you'll find some bolt cutters over here. So basically that's the small story of this side. There's not a huge amount to it. I'll just imply a lot. But then once you get over here, you're going to start discovering the actual lore. So what I'm rolling with right now is the Mothman is essentially has been artificially created as a military weapon during the war, and basically got out of hand and, is now just doing whatever. So it was artificially created, but the way that kind of works in my mind is trying to find the right words to explain this, because I have a real tough time like getting the vision in my head out into words. But basically the Mothman is a surveillance weapon that the military tried to develop, and they tried to develop it through biotech, biomanipulation. So what they did is super secretly, obviously, because breaking all the I don't know, war codes or whatever, and also it's just government and military in general. I'm not trying to like say this is a particular government. It's just a fictional thing, but they basically took prisoners and infected them with black moth venom, and this was all under a project called Operation Blackwing, a top secret experiment, around this military base on this island. So they infected people with this venom, and essentially what would happen is they would go into, I think it's chrysalises or cocoons or whatever, and essentially like grow into a Mothman. And so they only had one successful experiment, and they basically infuse somewhat some military chips. I haven't figured that part out yet, whether it'll be external or internal, to where they were able to receive signal back from what is supposed to be a surveillance weapon. So it's basically a mix of a person infected with these black moths and has a digital element to be able to communicate back to the military. And one of the safety measures of this is the high frequency emitters, radio emitters. So a particular high frequency signal that is able to basically control where these Mothmen would be allowed to go, to basically keep them contained. So essentially these things here are, again, I'm not sure how I want to explain this in the game, but creating basically like an area where the Mothman is trapped by either making it so he has to stay near these things, or creating like a high frequency in areas where they don't want him to escape, basically. So essentially Mothman was created successfully after many failed attempts. He then breached the compound, likely killed everyone, and who didn't get killed evacuated. And this was obviously a long time ago. This is a military experiment they have buried under the rug, and everybody just ditched the island. So since then, there have been various amateur cryptid hunters and various people that have visited the island because it's known for the Mothman sightings and various bridge collapses and whatnot. And so that's kind of the essentially the story from the military point of view. And the other layer I'm gonna try and add to this is where these black moths came from. So this is where it's going to get a little left field, and I guess before I explain it, to describe my thought process, I really like in the Night of the Wendigo hunt and the Bloodfang hunt how there's always like a mystical element to the hunts as well, like a almost magical or like occult kind of vibe. And so far what I've described with this hunt, it doesn't really have that. It's just pure like kind of objective create, there's nothing sort of like mystical about it. So the black moss basically, and this is either going to be shown in game or implied. I'm hoping to show it as another location. And bear with me, this is going to get a little bit weird. But the black moths, wherever I put them, are actually an ancient species of moth, like ancient, thousands of years, created by an ancient civilization, or discovered or grown by an ancient civilization, and essentially, were wiped out for some reason. But the ancient civilization has ruins and remnants on this island. So it just so happened that this is where they were present, and through essentially unlocking the tombs and the different vaults and areas of this civilization, the military caught wind of this basically and came and tried to basically harness the power of these moths. So where this gets weird is I'm thinking basically it's gonna be pseudo-Egyptian ancient civilization. Which obviously it's not actual Egyptian because it's not in Egypt. It's more an ancient civilization that is like Egypt. I don't really know how to explain that in the game, but it's going to be essentially Egyptian tombs for all intents and purposes. So I can jump into this map and show kind of what I'm thinking. So these are going to be basically underground tombs that were created by an ancient civilization, lost to time. Archaeologists or the military basically discovered these areas underground. So you can see this is just in a desert right now, but this would actually be well underground, and basically released these black moths, and discovered that they were basically able to infect people and transform them, which potentially, I'm not sure how much I'll get into it, but the ancient civilization might have used that for some purpose. But yeah, so that's kind of the overview of the story and the locations and the importance of the locations. Hopping off, Rail fan, no worries. Nice to see you. So I guess that kind of explains kind of the lore in my head of this hunt. How we actually like show that in the game, I have ideas as well, but I'm not sure how much of it will be physical locations or notes or whatnot. But so that's where we're at on this. The other thing I had was, aside from all the military stuff, I was thinking of having a and this is what the Ritual Grove stuff was referring to, a basically a group of people that were worshipping these moths or trying to bring them back. And I'm not sure if it's going to be the same civilization or not. Probably not. Trying to find the things I can show you. Open this one. This is the one that I'm probably least sure if I'm going to use or not. Once the shaders load. But yeah, essentially, like, again, bringing in the mystical side of this, a place that people were essentially worshipping the Mothman and the Black Moths. So this is kind of what potentially I'm thinking for that aspect of it. But I don't know if we need a whole location dedicated to this or not, or I can just imply it in other ways. But I do have obviously this this assets and whatnot available if we do create this as a location. But yeah, so that kind of describes a lot of what I'm going for here and hopefully clarifies my goals. So a lot of the stuff we've done so far is building the military aspect of this island, but the next thing to do is basically to create this layer beneath that, which is the ancient civilization of where the black moths actually came from. Because I feel like if I don't add some sort of mystical element like that, it just doesn't have the same impact. It's just like, there's some moths that they used as a weapon, but I feel like it's an interesting question of where did those moths come from and why are they only here. So yeah, that's kind of the thing. So now that you know that, I can get to what I was gonna make a decision on, hopefully. I was thinking of having the ritual grove here, which is that cult kind of area. People worshipping the Mothman, maybe trying to summon him, trying to call him, whatever. And then the bio lab was probably going to be partially essentially connected to the ancient civilization's tombs and whatnot underground. So under here is where the excavation would have happened, and they've built up basically a lab around that, and these silos here are going to be where they basically put someone in here, filled it with the moths, and then created the chrysalis, which hopefully you guys know what that is. It's like, when a caterpillar turns into a butterfly or a moth or whatever. It's like this kind of sac thing. So yeah, hopefully you guys think that's a cool idea. I worked really hard to kind of, I don't know, come up with like as concise of a story for the Mothman that uses all the elements that I can find about the real Mothman, or the real Mothman, but in a way where I get to tell kind of my own story. So definitely still open to feedback. We haven't made any of this yet, but I think I'm pretty happy with the story of that, and now it's a case of just how do we show this to players and how do we make it scary. So that's also why I'm holding off on doing the AI for the Mothman till last, because I think we can do a really good job of making him really interact with the environment. So I kind of want the environment more or less built out ahead of time because he can fly. So yeah, I don't know if anyone has any thoughts or feedback or ideas riffing off that, or follow-up questions. That's kind of a lot to lay on you in one go, and I've been trying to kind of keep some of that a little bit secret up until this point, because I wanted to kind of, be fairly confident that's what I'm going for. But yeah, there's like a behind the scenes, I guess, of my design for the story of this hunt and the Mothman as a creature. Very cool. Very excited. I'm glad, man. I'm so for a long time I've been so nervous about telling that to people because I just don't know how it was going to be received, because like I feel a lot of pressure to try and make the best thing I can, and I do feel like that is kind of the best thing I can come up with and make. So I'm glad you like it. It's a weird one, putting yourself out there making video games, putting a piece of your creativity out there for people to judge. I'm glad you like it. But yeah, no, so now you probably understand a bit more about why the map is the way it is in terms of the military presence. And the decision I was about to make that started this whole conversation of, does the ritual grove exist on this part of the island or not? Because that is alluding to a big part of the lore of how this was created before you've even seen the military side of it. So I think maybe third island. I could Got to take a boat to it. Load the second map. Yeah, it's just the time is all. Essentially, I have for the side that's outside of like putting the military stuff to the side. I have the ancient civilization, Egyptians, not really, but that's kind of the vibe, um, and some sort of weird magic cult that is basically trying to, or was, they're not around anymore, trying to communicate, harness, work with, create, etc. The Mothman. And I don't know whether to include both of those factions or just merge them into one. Um, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but yeah, I kind of I'm just thinking this through pretty carefully before I do it because once I start building, I don't want to change my mind. Um, can you repeat that? You're fine. Pay attention. No, we have the military, and then we have the ancient civilization, which is like pseudo Egyptians that are thousands of years old, and where the moths came from. Then we have the faction, which is the mystical kind of cult that is trying to interface, communicate with, summon slash create, or probably not create, but like is trying to basically work with the Mothman. And I don't know if anyone has ideas or feedback on whether those should be merged into one. So it was one civilization, or we have now three. So we have the ancient civilization, long gone. Then we have a cult that found this stuff and is trying to work with the Mothman. But that means it was after the military presence because the Mothman was already created. And then the military. So it would actually be ancient civilization, military, World War II-ish era, then a cult who heard about Mothman on this island and is now trying to do cult things. So yeah, I don't know, because I just don't know if that's too much for lore, like too much story, too many moving parts for the player to take on. For me, it's okay because I designed all this, but I'm really trying to think through this as a player. So if you start in this island, you see, okay, there's some military stuff here, it's all abandoned, it's all kind of run down. Then you come across this weird cult area where they're trying to communicate clearly with the Mothman or someone. No, maybe it does work, because then in the flow of things, then you would get to see the military presence, so you would get to learn about their creation of the Mothman, and then finally you would unlock the area which is both the ancient civilization and where the military was harnessing the black moss to create these surveillance weapons. Military is 1, pseudo-Egyptian is 2, and a small group in the pseudo-Egyptian is 3. Okay, so you're saying that there was an ancient civilization thousands and thousands of years ago, arbitrarily long ago. Then the military discovered their stuff. Black moths came out. They used it to create the Mothman. Then the third faction, which is the culty ones, were maybe, because then this would have to happen after World War II-ish era, they were maybe descendants, or they were the modern generation of this ancient civilization that then came back to try and... Is that kind of where you're going with that? Okay, yeah, that kind of works, I think. I do like that. I know I'm the game dev ranger, but I'm trying to get opinions because, I just it's hard for me to know, because I've known about this stuff for so long from someone who just kind of got explained the lore of this hunt, whether it's too much, too many moving parts, too many factions and story and timelines and story and stuff to take into account, because most of this is going to get told through notes and stuff. So if you feel like that is like achieved, like is not just like too much, like as long as that feels cohesive enough to you, I'm happy with that. It is a lot. Okay. But that isn't, but like, isn't that the goal of a story? It is, yeah. But also it's like trying to make a story that is comprehensible in an hour or so. Not that you have to understand every part of this, it's just like, is it better if I just cut the cult part of this and just do military ancient civilization? Or is it good to have a third? Because it's a cool area, right? The cult area. It's a cool location to find, but I don't know if that just like muddies everything else or not. No more 1 hour, now 2 hour. But bam. Yeah. I guess. I guess. I do want to try and keep it to around 1 hour because there's no saving or anything. So like ideally maybe you could play through the main story, beat the hunt in an hour-ish. But then if you wanted to play through it and find more of the secrets in the story and build the lore in your head, then maybe, you know, another hour to do that. Yeah. Well, I know for sure that we're going to have the ancient civilization stuff. I'm pretty hard set on that, even though it is really weird, and probably a lot of people will think it's weird. But I think because it's weird, it's different. You know, it's unexpected. You know, you wouldn't go to this area and be like, "Whoa, here's some ancient Egyptian tombs." You know, like it's unexpected, so that's good. But it is like, yeah, a bit strange. So, and then the cult stuff we can come back to, I suppose. In worst case, if we don't do the cult stuff, I could just make it less intense and just have like, yeah, like a smaller area rather than a big sort of underground tomb or some not tomb, underground like cult cavern basically. Because yeah, then also someone mentioned a lighthouse, which is also cool, but I can't I can't add everything. Like I wish I had time to, but I'm trying to make it as cohesive and entertaining as possible with the time I have. So I guess we can do the Egyptian stuff first. So for that, and there didn't used to be a lake here, which is a little bit of a problem now too, by the way. Maybe it's fine. Maybe it's fine to just have like a weird pond thing here. So downstairs, in basically what is going to be more or less the final area. I don't know if you actually beat the Mothman here. I'm still playing with ideas on how I want you to be able to beat the Mothman. This is essentially where the lab is going to be, the biolab. So I need to have the ancient civilization stuff be present in this same area, and ideally in a way that you encounter it. You encounter strange things before you actually get there. Like, for example, things like that. I mean, it doesn't make sense that it's on the surface, I suppose. Kind of does, because it's like there was an ancient civilization here. But yeah, you get kind of what I mean about this, like having some of this hopefully semi-implied before you actually get to the actual tomb, which is going to be underground. So maybe Yeah, so it doesn't make a huge amount of sense because, like, obviously this stuff is like sort of supposed to be buried to time, but I think it's necessary for the gameplay to have an effect for it to be for you to see this weird stuff ahead of time before you get to the tomb. I just need to figure out how I'm going to do that exactly, because this area is now basically not anything, and you'll basically most likely be coming this way. I want to put weird stuff. I mean, it's super strange, I know, but I want to put, or just follow my instincts and just make people, even if it's strange, when they play the hunt, go, wow, what the heck, you know? So one way I could do that is put these out in the water. Yeah, dig sites. Like, yeah, like excavation sites, yeah. I think you're right. It's just, yeah. No, I think you're right. Definitely excavation sites. I mean, I think it's still on top of though having some weird stuff like this. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like a hole where they've uncovered some, you know, like whatever, some pottery and bits and pieces. Just trying to think of how I want to have a hint at what is coming before you actually see it. In a way that is like, I guess, epic to some degree. Like, even like back here, what was I going to have here? Nothing. So back behind, it's tricky. I think we use this lake. What do you guys think? A big ass statue? Or like some pillars or something? The main thing is I'm looking for is it looks freaking cool. Essentially. I know everyone's gonna be like, what the hell are you smoking, man? But I just, you know, this is what I want to do. This is the game I want to make. This is how I want to do it. You know, like it's just I gotta just trust my instinct. Because definitely after you've got through all this military stuff, eventually when you start coming this way, you're like, what the frick? Why are there big definitely fallen over. Doesn't really have the same effect if it's fallen over though. Maybe I'm trying to force this too hard in this spot. Maybe it's not right. Difficult because like it's just they wouldn't be here like this. They would be underground. But I really want to try and find a way to have this work somehow. partially buried, maybe? Yeah, I don't know if you guys are feeling what I'm feeling, but just see how cool that feels to come across something like this, like that you wouldn't probably have seen before in a game or anything. I don't know. It's definitely strange though, isn't it? Well, I'm just gonna maybe commit to something like that for now. I think maybe here too large. You really don't like big things, do you? Small. Big things are epic. I'm trying to make them stand out, but yeah, we can do it a little bit smaller. Because I can probably make this look old and abandoned through foliage and whatnot as well. I'm just gonna commit, and I can undo this stuff if it doesn't feel right over time. But let's put some arbitrary ruins in here as well, because this will help imply that it's old and falling to bits. Do totally sure someone would have stolen some expensive shit out here, but make it clear that this part of the island has ruins. Okay, that's good. Kind of in the zone right now. Not really paying attention to chat, but okay, we're definitely getting somewhere. This is really like, I don't know, like a little bit scary to do on stream when I just like go with the flow, but I feel like that's when I make the best, my best work, is when I just kind of just go with it, you know, just like follow my nose, whatever, you know, and then edit it after the fact. Escape, sculpt. Just reveal a little bit more of the circle here. Build up the edge here so it blends in with the landscape better. Okay. Yeah, and then I don't know. Probably don't need to do too much more here until I figure out how this is going to work, but okay. So we've got this little area going on here now, which is cool. I think I could probably do with having a little bit of pathing through here. Okay, very good. Happy with that. Now I'll do a quick foliage pass here, unless there's any other assets I wanted to add. Actually, maybe there is. Hang on. Let's see. What was that thing called? Not that kind. Did I leave that up? I thought I changed that. Before we were working on the bugs, the moth swarm that I showed you. And yeah, so the title was, yeah. Did it not change? The last stream should have been. Oh, right. I left the not that kind part in, my bad. Yeah, it was from the last stream when we were talking. It was like making bugs not that kind or something. I don't know. It's trying to be clever. We could also. Could also show the presence of this group in this area. In sort of a subtle way. If I put a book like that, it's going to make people think you're supposed to do something with it. So now this layer, so the first layer we did was the ruins of the ancient civilization. Now this pass we're doing now is for the other faction, the more modern, I guess, descendants of that faction. Trying to basically worship and summon the Mothman. If I put a dagger here, people are going to want to take that for sure. Don't know if I'm hugely convinced on this, to be honest, but I guess is what it is for now. God damn, that's huge. Not that one then. Okay, now we're getting like some sort of pretty ominous looking area, which I think is cool. So let's foliage this up now, I guess. That's the small one I like, isn't it? So, yeah. Block a few sight lines around here so it's not so you can just see everywhere all at once. I find these little small trees are a good way to create a like, don't put any there because the sun's supposed to go through that spot. A barrier for the player to try and discourage them from going where there is nothing interesting without actually having to put an invisible barrier or anything. Because they can go there if they want, but they're gonna have to walk through these dense as trees and potentially not find anything, so I feel like it's a good way to show like where I want people to be and where I don't want people to be. Just gotta make sure I don't put them somewhere I do want people to go, or they will never go there if they learn to not walk through these trees. Well, there's usually nothing when these trees are in there. If I put them somewhere on the path or something, then people might assume there's nothing there. So... Cool. Yeah, no, this is good now. I've done anything with these areas yet, but I'm trying to like get a feel for how this might look now with all that stuff going on. think I'm pretty happy with it. There we go. So now we've got a reasonably dense back sort of area here. Everything looks pretty cool. Do we bush it as well? Necessary, but maybe just a few. Help break up where it connects to the ground. Right, so now this is looking reasonably old, and clearly there's something, you know, potentially, well, not clearly, but like I'm leading the player to cool stuff, basically, if they want to explore it. As long as I don't block the path too much. The trees. Yeah, and then implying, like, I don't know if that comes across properly, but for me anyway, my psychology of video games, if I'm coming down this path, right, like let's pretend we're walking down here, right, it's pretty clear where I'm going to go next. Maybe I might go that way, but probably not. It'll probably catch my attention, which is cool because then there's that thing there. And then along here again, it's still very much leading me. Like I might peek back here, but that's, I'd probably know there's not much back here, except it would be a good place for a game designer to put a secret thing, so I might check that. And then like we lead into the more newer stuff, like someone's obviously put this up after the fact, from when these buildings were made. And then you kind of get to the end of this thing, and there is like landmass back there, but it's not screaming at me to walk that way, which is what I was going for, because you can, if you want, it's open world, you can go wherever you want, but there's potentially not going to be a huge amount of stuff back here. It's kind of just going to be area maybe you can hunt or look around or whatever. So I think the paths and the way this is laid out now does a good job of saying, hey, this is the interesting part. You know, there's stuff up here if you want, but doesn't look like there's a huge amount kind of thing. So I think that's good. I might add a back entrance to this area as well, which is, as a reminder, is the way to get down to the ruined area. Some more cheap viewers or free viewers or something. No banks. All right. Good. I am pretty happy with that, I think. Especially if I do some cool like lights and stuff in front of these guys. Because now we have a reason that these wouldn't be completely ruined, because the newer cult people would probably have fixed these up, you know, after the military abandoned the place. So I think it's pretty cool. So I might put some like stuff around here, and it might be cool to actually have a bridge over this lake is how you get across, because I do, and the trees are not doing a good job of this right now. I am still trying to lead people up this way as well, because that's a pretty key area to this whole thing. So I don't want to make it seem like there's nothing that way, because there is. a single. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty clear. There's stuff up there now, maybe. I might have to put like a light or something as well. But then this is kind of like the side way you could go as well. Yeah. We make a drink, but I'll quickly check this in a few different times of day. I think it looks pretty freaking badass if I do say so myself. Because we obviously don't know what time of day people are going to discover this area. If it's nighttime, I'm going to need some more lighting and stuff around here. But it does look pretty cool at nighttime as well. I just need some lights and stuff. If we go to like basically sunset-ish, we get some big god rays over these statues, which is cool. It's pretty dark down this path, but that's fine. It's sunset. And then, yeah, this is all lit reasonably well. And right as the sun sets, it lines up on this chest here, which I think is kind of a cool effect as well. Yeah, so pretty happy with that. I'm gonna take a quick break, make a drink, and then possibly come back and do some more stuff. We'll see. I mean, there's more stuff to do. I just might have a break. I've been streaming for 2 hours, so we'll see how we go. But I'll be back in a minute. Muted. Sorry. Thank you. Yeah, I was just saying the first thing I noticed coming back is that the water looks really barren, which is probably fine, but I would like to put something out there, I feel like. And then I was also saying that I probably will hop off very shortly because I got some emails and stuff that I forgot I had to do, so sort those before the end of the day. I don't know if I'm convinced on having stuff like that out in the water necessarily. But what to put out there? I just want some sort of point of focus to look at. Yeah. I don't know, I guess I'll just make something basically right here. I don't know if I'll put anything on top of this or not. Just for some reason is my mind's telling me put something out there. Put something out in the water. Necessarily what it's going to be though. Yeah, it's kind of the silhouette I want, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, they're just rocks out there for now. I'm not sure if I'll put anything on those. Probably should. I want something like mystical if I am going to put something out here. Something mystical, but something that looks interesting from a distance. But not so interesting you want to go to it. I'm becoming very pedantic about my rocks, I will say. Okay, whatever. I don't know what that is or what the significance is of it. Maybe I'll think of something. Maybe I won't. I mean, I have um, something like this, which I can talk about what that's going to be later, but this could be one of the spots that we get that. Perhaps, especially if it was, say, behind. But yeah, anyway, I'll worry about what that is going to be later if we do something with that spot, and I'll probably explain what that light is at some point too. If you know your Mothman lore, though, you'll probably know what that is already. Like this. Be a good place. Yeah, cool. Anyway, I am going to leave this there for now. Thanks for tuning in. I'm not sure when the next stream will be, but I will post in Discord. And yeah, thanks for hanging out while we made some more lore decisions today. Made a little bit of a new area. Or the starter one, figured out what's going to be around here, figured out some of this, and then the bridge as well. We've got, I think, for the most part in place, and the fences, and we've got this bridge as well in this area. So need to do this radio tower spot, this one, and then just work on polishing up a few of the areas, potentially make the caverns, and then make the bio lab / tomb stuff down here. And yeah, but anyway, thanks for tuning in, everybody. As I say, I might stream tomorrow. I don't know. I don't want to commit ahead of time, but I probably will. We'll see.